Hello all. In the last part, we were looking at the assets of Chola kingdom, the scenic beauty that the poet came across. And we are going to continue with more of the scenic beauties as per the words of the poet. What else does the kingdom has to offer us? தீம்பெண்ணை மடல் சேப்பவும் கோள் தேங்கின் குலைவாளை கொழுங்காந்தள் மலர்நாகத்து துடிக்கடிஞை குடிபாகத்து யாழ்வண்டின் கொலைக்கு ஏற்ப கலவம் விரித்த மடமஞ்ஞை நிலவு ஏக்கர் பல பெயர்த்து. Resting on tall palm trees naves that bunch palm fruits, plantain groves, glory lilies, laurel trees, large owls that hoot on shores like wide-mouthed drumbeats, bees buzz like the lute strumming hum, peacocks strut on sand dunes make you numb, like moon that shines gorgeously. Here, the poet says that along the seashore, we can find a lot of palm trees, and the palm trees will be full of hanging, ripe palm fruits. And along it, one can also find plantain groves where the plantain or the banana tree would be bent down, unable to bear the weight of ripe banana bunches. And these owls will be as large as drums, and their hooting sound would sound as if large drums are being beaten. He also says that along the shore one can find huge group of peacocks just like they're roaming about. They will simply not be the colorful ones. We can also spot white ones amidst the colorful ones. And compares this sight to the moon shining brightly in the dark night sky. தேன்னெய்யோடு கிழங்கு மாறியோர் மீன் நெய்யோடு நரவு மறுக்கவும் தீங்கரும்போடு அவல் வகுத்தோர் மான்குறையோடு மது மறுக்கவும் குயிஞ்சி பரதவர் பாட நெய்தல் நுரம் பூங்கனி குறவர் சூட கானவர் மருதம் பாட அகவர் நீல் நிற முல்லை பல்தினை நுவல. Nectary honey bartered with murphy, fish oil exchanged for toddy, with sugary canes flattened rice exchanged, fatty meat chunks of stacks with toddy exchanged. Fishers sing wavy tunes, mountaineers sport exotic garlands, sweet tunes of the tribes from woodland, blue jasmine vines sported by farmers. Here, the poet gives his description about what sort of exchange goes among the people. We get a glimpse of different people from 4 different regions of the kingdom. According to Sangam literature, the entire land area was split into 5. Kurunji, Mullai, Marudam, Neidal and Palai. Where Kurunji dealt with people of the mountain ranges, Mullai dealt with people of the forests, Marudam dealt with people of the farmlands or agriculturalists, and Neidal were people along the seashore or fisherman community, and Palai of course denoted desert. Of these, King Karikaalan's kingdom covered 4 major of them, which is Kurunji, Mullai, Marudam and Neidal. So all these 4 regions were interconnected because of the barter system. Barter means to exchange whatever things they had. So people of that period had specific produces from their land. For example, the poet says, "Teenkarumbodu aval vahuttor." Now sugar canes were bartered with flattened rice. Some people, the agriculturalists, would have had aval, that is flattened rice. And people from the forest would have wild canes. These were exchanged. And people on the mountain had a rich source of honey. So they exchanged honey with the yams that were available with the forest people and so on. So there was an active exchange of produces, and the land was thus rich in terms of resources. The king made sure that the people interacted with one another and the produces were exchanged so that none of them were left out. This is one good example of how a kingdom should be run. Kaanakoli kadir kutta, Manikoli tinai kavara, Varai kali mulha, Kalinarai varai iruppa, Tanvaipin nal naadu kuliye, Manmaringinan maru indri, Urukudayan ondru kura, பெரிது ஆண்ட பெருங்கேண்மை அரணோடு புணர்ந்த திறனறி செங்கோல் அன்னோன் வாளி வெண்வேல் குருசில் As the wild stray fowls peck on grains of farmers, domesticated hens steal on millet grains, monkeys dive and cackle while they play, where storks fly across the black waters to hilltop to stay. With 4 lands under his cool shade, he ruled them fair, and care that never fade brought them under one roof for world to praise. He would rule longer with geniality and just all the same. He with victory, scepter of immortality. Long live he, king of victories. The poet praises the king, saying he is the most friendly of all, and definitely his name would be etched to immortality. Even though the king would die one day, his name would live forever. And true to his words, King Karikaalan is still very popular because of so many acts of his. One such act is his act of building a dam across the river Kaaveri, Kallanai Kattu. And because of this act, he is also called ruler, emperor of ecosystem. He actually regulated the water supply in such way that the rice bowl of southern India, that is the place called Tanjavur, is always fertile. That is where the entire paddy production happens. So we know why, because it is constantly wet by river Kaaveri because of the Kallanai Thittam of Karikaalan. And the poet does not miss out the river either. So he concludes the entire beautiful poem with a vivid description of river Kaaveri. Kaaveri Valam. மன்னர் நடுங்கத் தோன்றி பல்மான் எல்லை தரன் பல்கதிர் பரப்பி குல்லை கரியவும் கோடியேறி நைப்பவும் அருவிமாமலை நிகழ்த்தவும் மற்ற அக்கருவி வானம் கடற்கோள் மறப்பவும் பெருவரன் ஆகிய பண்பியில் காலையும் நரையும் நரத்தமும் அகிலமும் மாறமும் துறை துறைதோறும் பொறை உயிர்த்து ஒழுகி நுரைத்தலை குறை புனல் வரைப்பு அகம் புகுதோறும் புனலாடு மகளிர் கதுமென குடைய கூனிக்குயத்தின் வாய்நெல் அறிந்து சூடு கோடாகப் பிறக்கினாள்தோறும் குன்று எனக் குவிய குன்றா குப்பை கடுந்தேற்று முடையின் இடம் கிடக்கும் சாலி நெல்லின் சிறைக்கோள் வேலி 1000 விளையுட்டு ஆக காவிரி புறக்கும் நாடு கிளவோனே. The never fading Kaaveri. The scorching stature instills fear in adversaries as he spreads his rays to shine on all. Dries out tiny basils, fires up lofty branches, waterfalls dry out weak and more ranches. Darkened clouds oblivion to precipitate, parching dryness with nothing spare to rate, nutmeg and lemongrass, eaglewood and sandalwood, every shore that holds them to rest. Loud foaming river that flows with zest, to fill those ponds and lakes for dames to drench, as they bend and cut with sickles the paddy entrench. Stack him up high in neat segments, every day new stacks added to the heap, that never lowers but grows several stacks deep. Carelessly strewn red paddy fields, with a fence that runs 1,000 measure yields, O protector of the lush land where Kaaveri flows. The poet explains that deserts are because the rains have completely forgotten them, whereas here the rains do not bother coming over here at all because the Kaaveri is already there, always there for the land to be fertile and evergreen. He says that the cloud would forget to sponge up the waters from the oceans and rivers, and it would keep staring at the place filled with water. It will forget to precipitate. The rainfall would not happen, but still the land will be fertile because of Kaaveri. He says that people will stack the husk and hay along the roadside, and the stacks will always be higher. It'll be as high as a small hillock, and the other side will have the paddy cleaned and ready to be sacked. Now, both the mountains or hills of paddy will compete against each other because they are from immeasurably wide farmlands which hold paddy. They will be carelessly strewn. The birds would come and peck on them. Nobody would even bother because round the year they will receive paddy unlimited. And they would also share the same with the rest of the country. Thus, the poet says that this land where the Kaaveri flows is indeed blessed, and doubly blessed because they have Karikaalan as their ruler. This poem is a small tertiary root which we have to hold on to. Without the roots, we will not grow up. We have just started to sprout up with the help of Sangam literature. I hope you take us to a wider audience. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.